U.S. government agencies purchase all essential medicines that we need from American sources. The executive order will also sweep away unnecessary regulatory barriers to domestic pharmaceutical production and support advanced manufacturing processes that will keep our drug prices low and allow American companies to compete on the world stage. We'll be able to compete on the world stage, but we're now going to have the lowest prices as opposed to by far the highest prices. I have people that I know that go to Canada. They go to Canada to buy drugs, to buy prescription drugs. They go there because the price is so much lower than the United States. And yet it's made by the same company, often in the same plant. It's a disgrace. And the politicians allowed this to happen for many, many decades. You have people called middlemen. I don't know who the middlemen are. I don't know. They never say middle women, so they're politically not correct.
And even on this subject, he's got jokes.
But I've heard the term middlemen for a long time. They are so wealthy. They are so wealthy. Nobody has any idea who the hell they are or what they do. They make more money than the drug companies. You know, in all fairness, at least the drug companies have to produce a product, and it has to be a good product. But the middlemen, well, the rebate that I'm doing cuts out the middlemen and it reduces costs, and the money goes back to the people purchasing the drugs. So I have a lot of enemies out there. This may be the last time you'll see me for a while. A lot of very, very rich enemies, but they are not happy with what I'm doing. But
so there you see that one comment. This may be the last time you see me for a while. He's not reading off his prompter. And the eye movements as far as brain access that he's giving for this particular part, there's no surprise there. I'd have to guess, because there is no surprise, this is something that is not surprising that may have had to been done. You're in a very high position in office. Eventually something that your plan is going to do is going to off some people who are capable of hiring some people to come after you. And if we go back to earlier, that extra stress, when I was talking about demeanor changes, the pharmaceutical companies and their ads against him, and the emotional stress that was going with that, the words link into that. But it's not a surprise. He's not, oh my God, I just kicked a hornet's nest. It's like, oh, well, I kicked it. So just so you know, probably not going to be out in public a whole lot these days.
I figure we have one chance to do it, and no other president's going to do what I do. No other president would do a favored nations, a rebate, a buy from other nations at much less cost. Nobody. And there are a lot of unhappy people, and they're very rich people, and they're very unhappy. Here's my fourth promise to American workers. Beyond our medical supply chain.
So I found that is just interesting. They're very angry people. They're very rich people. He did not call them powerful, which in his mindset says, at least in his mind, I don't know if this is true or not, because remember, this is his mind. They are not above the law. So there's some hope in that. Hopefully that turns out to be true.
If you'd like to learn more about analysing body language, there is a video course.
I have heard that. Yeah, I have heard that.
So I've heard it. I don't know if it's true, but Bill de Blasio was like, yeah, they're fair weather friends. I should raise their taxes more.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, now you're going to lose more money.
Yeah.
So we talked about this, how Trump brought all these rich people in.
Yeah, in the early 80s.
Started spending mad tax money.
I mean, Trump basically redefined what New York was. Like all that money that he brought in the early 80s changed. The crime rate was dropping over a decade after that.
Previous story, I'll say, was just in connection to Bill Barr is going after these people.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So that we started with talking about Trump and his enemies. Then you get Bill Barr, and he's the one launching these investigations, prosecutions as the attorney general. So that's why I'm worried about Bill Barr as well.
Yeah, good point.
Then you see this Antifa guy who gets released, and the feds jump in and lock him up. I wouldn't be surprised if the stuff we see in Portland, we're going to start seeing, federal indictments. We literally are.
Well, the FBI has a list of over 300 people that they're going after.
Exactly.
Right now.
Now this story is getting a little crazy. Check this out. One tweet tried to identify a cop, then 5 people were charged with felony harassment.
Whoa.
Is retweeting an officer's photo cyber harassment? Now, the first thing I'll point out is I do not trust The Verge.
Okay.
The Verge is far left. They lie. However, this story is essentially what they're saying. Some far leftist published a photo. There was a cop wearing I think it was a thin blue line mask.
Okay.
And they said something like, if anyone knows who this B is, throw his info under this tweet. And then there were 5 retweets, I think. And so those people who retweeted it, they're charged with felonies.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Felony harassment. That's
Yep.
what you said?
Now, there's an interesting thing about this.
Interesting.
You know, my first reaction is, does this cross the line, right? If I'm a journalist and I'm like, hey, I'm trying to figure out who this guy is and crowdsource some information, is that harassing somebody?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough question. I mean, they literally dox people to get people to go to their houses and
Exactly.
attack them. So, I mean, if you're trying to do a story on someone, it's as journalists,
But it's the action itself.
you're right, exactly.
here-
And the intent.
So
also.
this, I got to say, this does to me feel extremely flimsy.
Okay.
And it may just be an intimidation tactic,
Good point.
using the arrest to shock and scare. But there is still, I think, an argument. These people are retweeting it. That's a group of people getting together, showing someone's face, and
Yep.
asking for their private information.
Yep.
So I guess the argument is, typically harassment is persistent. But what if you have group harassment or some kind of cyber stalking with a group of people? If like, it's like gang violence, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're by yourself and you get into a fight, they might just be like, bad hair to everybody, go home. You're with a group of people wearing like, some imagery or something, and they'll say it's a gang violence. That's what happened in New York with the Proud Boys. So Proud Boys fighting Antifa was gang violence. Okay, if these far leftists are grouping up online to target cops and it's literally to pull up private information, are they engaging in harassment because they're in a group of people?
Well, and they
It's-
all tend to have like the little hammer and sickle. They're proudly posting it on in their names now.
Yeah.
We're seeing that.
Or Rose.
So I
It's
don't
tough.
know. I don't
It's
know
tough.
if they did. But that's basically like wearing all wearing the same bandana.
My big problem with this story, you got the ACLU obviously saying that it's ridiculous. They said that they confirmed the existence to The Verge and said this individual is as did the attorney. The Verge has also reviewed it. So I guess I don't know what the ACLU is saying. Obviously they're viewing it rather negatively, I guess. But I'll tell you right away, when I see The Verge talking about it, my first question is, what did they omit?
Good point.
I don't look, man. There was a story once from The Verge, and it talked about Blair White.
Okay.
Yeah, you familiar with Blair?
I know a little bit about her. Yeah.
Yeah, so Blair White, conservative trans YouTuber, and The Verge wrote like a smear about Blair.
Okay.
Blair then said, "Whoa, this is like ridiculously not true." So then the author then just said, "Oh, okay, we'll fix it," and added a whole new paragraph of fake news and lies, more smears, more lies.
Oh man.
And I reached out to somebody who was involved because I know a lot of these people. I worked in the New York media space,
Yeah.
and they just didn't respond to me.
Of course
And
not.
and I'm like, this is nuts. I was like, I reached out to this person. I know this person. We've had lunch on several occasions.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, hey, I just want to give you a heads up. This is not true. And, I think you guys should issue a correction. Ignore. Stayed up. So when I see this story, you know what I think? I wonder what they were doing behind the scenes. I wonder what the cops actually know about what they were doing. Sorry, I don't trust them. I don't trust the ACLU because the ACLU is overtly engaging in racist, policy, anti-civil rights
Yep.
on numerous occasions. I know The Verge has published fake news. I would not be surprised if the goal of this article is to make it seem like they did nothing wrong and they're simply being persecuted for just posting silly tweets.
Yeah. Right.
And it's because of the lies they've put out that's put me in this position. Because I'll tell you what, if this story on its face is true, I don't think they should be charged for this.
Well, I mean, all they're saying is that they retweeted it, but they could be leaving out that they retweeted it with information of the person that they were asking for. Like trying to spread the fact that they know who this person is. Retweet. Here's some information I've got. Anybody else have more information about this specific person because we got to go after him. Maybe they were openly talking about it. We don't know.
And there's no other, I can't really find any other stories talking about it other than The Verge.
Wow.
So I'll tell you this.
So why
man.
would they even talk about it? Just because they're trying to make the cops that arrested him look bad?
It's a
you know?
hot story.
I guess, yeah.
It's to be like, whoa, look at this encroachment, this authoritarianism. I'll tell you what, right
Yeah.
away. First,
Oh, they're really fascist. See proof.
absolutely.
Yep.
And hey, I'll tell you what, if they're telling the truth on this, then these people I don't think they should be charged, especially with a felony for posting a photo. But it's getting interesting, I'll tell you what. Because at a certain point, we have a serious problem with doxing and harassment, showing up to people's homes.
Mm-hmm.
The officer basically said that it made them feel threatened because they were trying to their family, their information. You know, it's crazy. In Portland, when, the cops switched from name badges to unique identifier codes.
Yeah, the numbers.
It's very much like Watchmen, the new series.
I haven't seen it yet.
I didn't, and I'm not going to.
Okay.
But in the show, all the cops start wearing masks because people were publishing, the bad guys. This is really funny. In the show Watchmen, the bad guys were publishing their information.
Huh.
It's like, welcome to real life, where the bad guys are still the ones publishing their information.
Hmm.
Only this time, it's the people who think they're the good guys. But this is a dramatic escalation. So this will be interesting to see where this kicks off to. If other people start, are they going to start getting charged for doxing? The crazy thing is, I shouldn't say crazy. I guess the sort of funny thing is, as with all of these far leftist moves they make, they dox all day and night. They put up websites with people's names and information, and then they cry and complain when someone else does it. That's the name of the game. They'll hit you, and then as soon as you hit back, they go, help, help, I'm being repressed.
I'm a victim now. See,
Yep.
proof that I'm a victim. You put yourself under the boot.
These
Like,
are little
what?
These are little kids who knew to pretend to be bullied in school to get what they wanted.
That's a good point.
The teacher would walk by and they'd pretend to fall down and go like, they shoved me, and they'd be like, oh, I'll take them, and haha, I got you, and the kid would get in trouble.
Yep.
That's what they're doing, man. But we'll see, because I'll tell you what, I'm not a fan of government overreach or authoritarianism. The
Same.
government, there's a fine line between posting a public photo. If you're in public and someone takes a photo, well, then you don't have an reasonable expectation of privacy. He was wearing a mask. They're calling to dox him. Multiple people got involved. Seems silly, but maybe we need to start talking about consequences for online mob behavior.
Good point.
So it's like,
Especially when it's leading to or alluding that they want to promote real life violence, because that's what it seems like they were doing here.
Harm. It's beyond. It's
Okay.
It's so check it out. If a group of people goes to Yelp
Mhm.
and then claims your business serves bad food and it's all fraud,
And it's all just a bunch of Karens
maybe
screaming about
maybe
it.
we need a law saying group fraud is illegal. If you engage in an online brigade,
Mhm.
a group of people lying about a business
Just because.
because you don't like them,
Mm-hmm.
that maybe we need some legislation about that.
How do you prove that, though?
It's really difficult because it's a free speech issue.
Exactly.
And this is what's getting challenging, where so like when I put on this event in the Philly area, and a bunch of Antifa started calling the venues
Yeah.
and lying like crazy, like we can't sue each and every one of these people. Yes, they're lying. Yes, it's defamation. It's libelous, and there were even violent threats. What are we going to do? Launch 1,500 lawsuits against each and every one? It's
Right.
impossible. It's impossible. So this kind of thing didn't exist before the information age.
Yeah, that's true.
You might get people believing fake news for sure, but the scale to which regular people from across this country, here's what's happening in this area. So where we are, we're going to put on an event
Okay.
with Daryl Davis, famed
Amazing man.
yeah, he de-radicalized like over 200 Klansmen, white supremacists.
Awesome dude.
We did put an event on with him, mind you, but some Antifa people called and basically threatened to burn down the theater
Yep.
at the 11th hour, and the theater canceled on us. These people didn't live here. I do. They started lying to the press saying we won't allow them to come here. And I was like, bro, you guys that are coming here are from upstate. This is my town where I'm putting on an event
Mm-hmm.
in my town. Now, if we didn't have internet coordination or whatever, that wouldn't have happened. The people who live here would not have had large numbers. There wouldn't have been any phone calls. Maybe one person would call and be like, I don't like this. They'd be like, too bad. But because the internet exists, these venues started getting phone calls from San Francisco. And I actually got to listen in on one of these calls, and it was hilarious.
Wow.
Yeah, so the guy calls, he calls up and he's like, I just want to let you know that you're hosting white supremacists, and this is unacceptable. And because of this, I will no longer be patronizing your business. and the venue was like, your zip code, your area code is San Francisco, and the guy was like, yes, sir. Have you ever been to this venue? No. Do you live in California? Yeah. Then why do I care what you think? I was like the most hilarious thing I've ever heard. Like, seriously.
It's embarrassing, really.
But when you get inundated with emails, these people don't know.
That's
All
true.
of a sudden, they're like, I've never seen this much. And so it's a coordinated fraud.
Yep.
And they argue it's free speech.
Well, and we've talked about these people on the left. They've got nothing better to do but then to be victims and collectively get together and shoot their anger at people that are just trying to live their lives.
It's scary because I was thinking about it earlier, that everything's so good now that we've created extreme entitlement. So I was thinking
Good point.
right. So the better things get and the less work needs to be done,
Mhm.
the more you end up with people who demand everything and don't do anything.
And and they don't have a purpose.
Exactly.
Because
There's no job to do.
there's no job to do. Right.
So I was thinking about this in terms of like universal healthcare debate and all this stuff. And I was like, if you have only, the amount of production required, the amount of labor required to produce food to feed everybody, it's getting easier and easier for us to mass produce food. We have better machinery, better technology, and now Americans are pretty fat, So at a certain point, most people can literally sit around all day. And in America, we have fat homeless people.
That's
right?
true. Yep.
So we have homeless people today that are fatter than the fattest man in the world 100 years ago. So what ends up happening is you get a lot of people who don't have to do any work, and they demand these things be taken care of. I see these posts where they're like, what a cold and callous system capitalism is that, tells people you have to work to survive. And I'm like, okay, have you ever gone camping? Like,
Have you ever lived out in the woods by yourself without society propping you up?
Nope.
Without a toilet, without running water?
So here's the problem. We're seeing a clash.
Yeah, wow.
I think a big reason we're seeing a rise of socialists and communists, college being one factor,
Yeah.
and not just about indoctrination, about the fact that they're all in massive debt and they don't see a way out, so they just want the government to bail them out. But I think we're seeing a clash now as you're having, it's easier and easier to produce basic necessities for people. And so we're getting more and more people who are demanding it, but people still have to work. And therein lies the big problem with these communists. It's mind-blowing to me when I try to have these conversations about universal health care, and I'm like, okay, personally, I'm totally for it. The problem is we literally can't have universal health care. It's physically impossible because some treatments are extremely scarce and may only be available to like 100 people.
Yeah.
Let's say
be millions of dollars for that one treatment.
I hate the pharmaceutical companies.
Right.
I think EpiPens and insulin cost way too much. I think one thing we can do is base coverage, basic care, like things like insulin, things like EpiPens, things like you break your hand, you can go in. These things make sense.
Hello, everyone. This is Bionic Pig Television, and I am joined here today with the wonderful Elvis the Alien. And today we're going to come back.
Come back, Kate.
It'll taste like noodles, yeah. Put a bit of soy sauce in. I thought I'd got more. Obviously not.
Oh my god.
So-
Video of her teaching us how to make a grilled cheese or oh nope, even better. Here we go. Titles when people start making fun of her in the comments.
No, but she even said in the beginning of the microwave noodles that she's making piss take noodles. What is that? Okay, I'm going to look
I'm guessing.
Last time, but
like what's going on? That's like her signature move. That slopping in there.
not too bad. Yes.
Look at those beans just boiling away right there. Look at that.
To me, it would still be very expensive. But it's mind-blowing when I have arguments or conversations with people about universal health care, and I'm like, what if there's a cure for something, but it's extremely difficult to produce, and it requires a specialist who's very expensive? How do we get that to every person?
Right.
The reality is you can't. So what happens is the rich person buys it, and the poor person doesn't.
Yep.
And they're like, no,
More
that's
funding we
ridiculous.
get,
We shouldn't let
more
people
my
die
loyalty
because they're
will,
poor.
which
Okay, if you have 1,000 people who have a disease and only 100 cures, you quite literally can't cure them all.
That's right.
So what ends up happening now with these, these far leftists is they're living in a world where there's infinite food. Medicine can cure literally any disease. Therefore, the government should just give it to everybody. Oh, and it's all infinite. There's scarce. They believe we're already in a post-scarcity reality.
Yeah, that's totally wrong.
Well, this is the clash we're facing now, and that's one of the reasons why they're rioting.
Yep.
They live in a fairy tale world where they think everything is for them.
Well, they got the think about the parents that they probably have that have just been like, I'm going to make life as easy as possible for you, and life will always be easy. Don't worry, I'm going to give you everything. How dare you, teacher? You didn't teach my son or daughter to do to be great.
I just realized something interesting.
What?
These Antifa people, they are it's a crowd of Marie Antoinettes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So
I see it.
the ideal let them eat cake
Mm-hmm.
was there was a famine. People were starving, and she was like,
Before quarantine, I just thought that I don't know. I've just had such a busy life. I've worked so hard for my career, and the feminist movement taught me like you don't need to learn how to cook, you don't need to know how to sew, and that's like kind of all we need to know how to do now. And so I've learned that I've kind of wasted my skill set. Like I really don't. All these women sewing things, I'm just like, wow, they're so much more deserving of love than me. It really has.
I'm glad you're finding a way to
Yeah, to beat myself up.
hate yourself more
Yeah,
during the quarantine. That's fantastic. You're back in your parents' house hating yourself.
I am. My mom told me my roots I needed to touch them up. She was like, your roots look worse. Those are sadder roots than the miniseries.
Oh, for God's sake.
That's a good joke I wrote earlier.
That's a joke from 1977.
You're right. I looked it up. I was like, that joke predates me. How do I even know about that miniseries?
I've got sadder roots than the miniseries. That's fantastic. I love that. Kids, look it up. You'll learn a lot.
Yeah, you really will. Yeah, and a lot of people have been asking me if I've heard my parents having sex, and I was just like, Dad, stop, I haven't, and I have a white noise machine. Do you want me to hear if my mom screams downstairs, I just convince myself she won $20 on a scratcher. That's all. 3 times in a row.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I do. Or she fell out of bed. I would prefer that.
Is she someone who plays the scratcher? Is that what she does?
I got her a bunch of scratcher tickets for Mother's Day, and she won $65, baby. She was so excited. My mom loves small amounts of money. She really gets psyched about it. I just Venmoed her $50 actually because she cleaned my bathroom for me. I got to this level. I worked hard so I would never have to clean anything ever. Like, it's really one of the reasons that I wanted to be like, famous, is like, I don't like cleaning. No one does, but like, that was really a thing I don't like. And now my room is a mess. And the other,
like, if they're starving, then why don't they have cake? And I don't know a whole lot of, it's a bit apocryphal, I suppose. The general idea is she was saying, like, give them bread.
Mm-hmm.
There's like literally no food. They're starving. And she was like, I don't understand, because she was rich and snooty.
Yeah.
Wealthy, privilege, and all that stuff.
Or ignorant, really.
Right. But in her privilege, wealth, the real privilege, she always had food. So she was like, I don't understand why they're upset. Just let them have cake, And so I don't know if she actually said it. Some people say she didn't. But the point is, you have all of these Antifa people going around smashing things, saying, give everyone cake. And it's like, we can't. It's not possible. So
we deserve cake. We want the cake.
You know what really, really bugs me too?
What?
I see all these memes all the time talking about free everything.
Yeah.
One of them I saw, so we talk about universal health care. One of the things I saw was, it was a post where it was like Jimmy Neutron or something. It's a stupid meme. And it was like, did you know that we have this many million empty homes and only this many thousands of homeless people? We could quite literally put homeless people in homes. And I'm like, said like somebody who truly has never owned a property.
Yep.
You can't just take a homeless person who's homeless for a variety of reasons, including mental health issues, put them in a vacant property, and then walk away. You're literally sweeping the problem under the rug.
Yeah.
The person's not going to have food. They're not going to pay their utility bills. The walls are going to fall apart. The house is going to collapse. They're going to die, and then it's going to spread to other houses and destroy everything.
Yep.
And then I get these responses from these lefties where they're like, "You're so dumb. You don't even understand. Like, there's literally a house." And I was like, "Bro,
Did you not listen to what I just said?
I was like,
It's not going to give them a job. It's not going to give them ambition to further their life. You got to also think about
a group of Black Lives Matter activists, if you can even call them that, have been going around to small businesses in downtown Louisville. People scared to say the kind of things you're saying.
Yep.
You know, I was talking to somebody who's like a prominent Hollywood figure, and you'd be surprised. I've mentioned this before. There are a ton, especially after doing Rogan. I got hit up by a ton of like Hollywood, LA types who are secretly conservative, and not necessarily conservative, but like politically homeless liberals.
Yeah.
So intellectual dark web is probably an easy way to explain what kind of views these people have. And they're saying things like they either did vote for Trump, they're going to vote for Trump, but they know their careers and lives will be destroyed if they say anything.
Yep.
So where do they go when they themselves are like hipster skateboarding vegans? They don't agree with conservatives. And so I was talking to this Hollywood dude, and he was like, "Listen, man, you got to understand, like when I turn on, YouTube and I see a dude wearing like a beanie and a hoodie or whatever,
Yeah.
and you're like a skateboarder, musician who's
Yeah.
like, what we need to understand is like finally it feels like I get it, because it's really funny when the far left tries to claim that I or we are like far right or conservative or whatever.
Yeah.
Because you ask a conservative and they're like, no, of course not. Those guys are liberals. You look at Dave Rubin, you look at Ben Shapiro, it's like the perfect example. It's like clearly they're at odds with tons of each other's. Well, while Dave has moved more to the right, you get the point.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at traditional conservatives, you see, like, go to CPAC, everyone's wearing a suit, they're dressed up, they're not a beanie wearing skateboarder.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden now, we're having conversations from a very centrist liberal perspective
Yep.
that didn't exist before.
I mean, I don't claim to be a Republican now. I never really claimed to be a Democrat. I probably would have answered if someone asked me, "Are you a Republican or a Democrat?" I probably would have said Democrat in the past. But then again,
Default
I
liberal.
had no idea what anything politics. Like this whole year has just been me like learning the political landscape. So now that I understand it, I'm not a Republican or Democrat. I'm an American. Period.
Well,
That's it.
Trump is not hardcore conservative.
I know.
Even Vox, the progressive outlet, said he was a moderate. They try to claim he's far right, he's fringe, he's all these awful things, and it's like his policies really did overlap a lot with. This is what people need to realize. One of Donald Trump's successes was that his policies did overlap with Democrats 10 years ago. It made it very difficult for them to find a position. Because when Trump comes out and says, we're going to secure our borders, we're going to deal with immigration, illegal immigration.
Mm-hmm.
Well, most people are like, that sounds great. Democrats, what do you have to offer? If they came out and said, we completely agree, but we're slightly weaker than Trump, yeah, they'd be like, no thanks.
Wait, hold on. I got something. Build back better.
Build back better.
Build back better. We got to build back better.
You lying dog-faced pony soldier.
Listen, Biden, just say "Make America Great Again." That's what you want to say, man. Like, come on, really?
Yeah.
Build back better. What does that even mean?
Did you
It
see?
means make America great again. That's what you're trying to. That's what you want. Get out of here.
It's like he's a dollar store version of Trump.
Right?
He wants to be.
Like Trump. Actually, that's unfair. That's not even unfair. He's like he's in the dumpster of the dollar store. It's like it's no. You know what Biden is? Biden is like when you see those memes of stolen IP from China.
Yeah.
Where it's like Spider-Man with Wolverine claws and it says Star Wars on it.
Yeah.
That's Biden.
Right.
Plagiarism, confusing, makes no sense.
Yep.
In
China.
it's funny. It makes you laugh. So
seriously.
we have his face to make fun of.
That's got all sorts of layers to it. That joke.
Yeah, I really
like
like
it.
that.
That was good. That's multi-layers.
But you've seen those things. I love
I
it.
have. Oh yeah.
You're like
Good.
Star Wars and it's Spider-Man with Wolverine claws. You're like,
Off-brand,
what?
but worse.
Yeah, right. Listen. Not to rag on dollar
Listen here,
stores.
Fat.
You go to a dollar store, they got your essentials, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
They,
guess
they got a little
that's
bit of
true.
everything. It's not like Walgreens.
No,
where-
but I can't stand it though because that's part of the issue of what we do as Americans. I mean, I'll just talk about myself. I was used to just going to buy the product that I need. Oh, it broke. Go buy a new product. Oh, it broke. Go buy a new product.
Welcome
and
to
that
the
is
stream.
across the board. What we need to get rid of. What happened to the days where we fix everything? We have our one cups. We have,
Fix that if
you know,
anybody
we
wants.
have the things that we know we can fix and keep them forever, and their quality. That's what America made is to me.
Build back better.
Build back better.
Check this out. Check this out. We got more
That's
data.
good.
Look at this.
Oh man.
Would you support or oppose firing a business executive from their job if it became known they privately donated money to? 31% among all polled said they would support firing a Trump donor. 22% would support firing a Biden donor. Conservatives would not want, only 36% would say fire a Biden donor, but 50% of strong liberals would fire a Trump donor. You know what that means?
Yep.
If
Orange
listen,
man bad.
it's very, very clear.
TDS.
If 31% of all people think you should be fired for donating to Trump, you better not say you're voting. You
That's right.
donated to Trump.
Yep.
You
that's
better
right.
shut up. Now, 22% would, among all people, would fire someone for donating to Biden. So there's probably a lot of people who aren't going to talk too much about that either. But
Still too partisan.
it's strong liberals who control cultural institutions.
Absolutely.
And half of them will fire you if they find out. Strong conservatives, they ain't running Disney and Gillette or Unilever or whatever.
No.
They're not doing it. So what are you really worried about? And not only that, are strong conservatives going to make phone calls? They're not. They're going to say, well, that guy's dumb as a box of rocks. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, what are you guys doing later? A liberal's going to be like, call him now. Get everybody on the email list. Let's show up to his house with bricks.
Oh, seriously.
Yeah, it's frightening.
Strong liberal. What does strong liberal mean? That's ridiculous. 32% worry their political views could harm their employment. They say nearly a third of employed Americans say they personally are worried about missing out on career opportunities or losing their job if their political opinions became known. These results are particularly notable given that most personal campaign contributions to political candidates are public knowledge and can easily be found online. You know what that means? Trump's donations would be substantially higher if
Wow.
cancel culture wasn't a thing. And that might be the point.
Interesting.
You know how many text messages I get from progressives because I donated to Andrew Yang? It's annoying. It's really annoying.
Really?
Like nonstop, dude. And like I'm running for Arkansas, and I'm like, what? No. Get out of here. Get out of here. And so it was really funny. I got some progressive texted me, and I'm very polite. They said something like, hey, we see that you're a fan of Yang. We're running. He's endorsed us. Would you consider contributing? I'd say, no, I appreciate, you reaching out. Best of luck. Please don't contact me in the future. They messaged me again. And they're like, hey, it's a different name now, but the same number. Like, we're hoping to get some donations for our candidate. And I'm like, I asked you last time to stop, texting me. I'm not going to donate. And they donate again. And I responded the last time with, if you text me one more time, I'm going to donate to your opponent. And that was the end of it. Yeah. And they were like, please don't do that. We'll stop. I'm sorry.
That's
over.
so that's.
Go ahead.
Hold on. Yeah, give me 1 sec. This is something that Karlin Borisenko does. When people give her trouble on Twitter, she tells them up front. She's like, you're giving me a hard time. Please stop. And then if they continue, she says, I'm going to donate $25 every time you insult me to Donald Trump. And she does. And she has a lady for whom she has donated $150 so far.
That's
and she
amazing.
won't block and she won't mute. And she's
Oh.
like, we're doing this.
Dude,
Let's
Karlin's
go. I got
awesome.
some
That's
funds,
a really
man.
good idea.
Do you remember when I got here and I was getting those text messages from the Bernie guys, from Bernie?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So I donated to
You were-
Bernie.
you were getting
back
Bernie stuff.
before 2016.
Look at this
I was
guy.
all about that.
This Bernie guy.
I liked him in 2016.
Me too.
I didn't like him this
Right.
go around.
He listen, in Bernie's original campaign, he was like, no open borders. That's a Koch brothers proposal.
Right.
Here. Unions, strong working class, support. Okay, I hear you.
Yeah.
Now what is he saying?
Open borders.
Decriminalize border crossings. Whoa.
Give them all health care. Like what? Give
Yep.
the people coming right off the bat, give them health care? Wait. No. I don't agree with that at all.
I did a longer breakdown of Bernie's positions,
Yeah.
how he flipped on a bunch of issues,
Mm-hmm.
and now it doesn't seem to make sense anymore. But notably, I remember the big change was when he said white people didn't know what it was like to be poor.
Yeah.
But go ahead, tell me that story.
Well, no. So they started hitting me up, and I'm like, all right, please stop. I don't support Bernie anymore. I'm not having this. And then just like you said, 3 days later it was another person. Hey, it's Mike with the Bernie campaign or something, and I was like, Tim, like look at this. You were like, oh man, ask them about I don't remember the millionaires or the billions. Well, like ask him why he stopped saying millionaires and just saying billionaires. we actually had fun. Him and I basically just trolled these people for a little while, and then finally I was like, look, I've had enough of this. Don't hit me up again.
I always do this because people don't believe me. So I pulled it up while you were talking.
Oh.
PolitiFact dings Sanders for saying white people don't know poverty.
Ooh.
That was huge to me. I was like, whoa, Bernie, dude.
Yeah,
That
what
does
are you
not
talking
sound
about?
like you, man. All of a sudden, he embraced this weird insanity. So, yeah. They've, do they have the link to, they don't have the link.
Wait, hold on. Oh, this is great. He's working now with Biden, right?
Yeah,
And
on a Unity platform.
Hold on, wait, but didn't Biden say poor kids are just as smart as white kids?
Yeah.
That's what he said.
That's the problem, man. So maybe it was my naivete.
Oh man.
Maybe listen, maybe I was just naive.
They're a pair, aren't they?
And when I thought Bernie was great, it was because, to be honest, I was following a lot of his old speeches, a lot of the memes, a lot of the things my friends was sharing, and I wasn't actually digging in. I was just looking at Bernie on the surface, and I was happy. I was like, this guy sounds like he's consistent, and it sounds like we have someone who actually cares.
Yeah.
And then give in the chance. In a split second, he was like, I'll take the money.
Yep.
Just pay me the $1 million. I'll write the book. I'll buy another house. And there's Bernie.
Yep.
Yeah, right. Spare me, dude.
The
Bernie doesn't-
billionaires. The billionaires. That's now he's just talking about the billionaires.
Yeah, dude, my favorite thing about Bernie is how he would say, the millionaires and the billionaires in this country. Then he became a millionaire, and he goes, the billionaires in this country.
Yeah.
You can still rag on the millionaires and be a millionaire, Bernie. You don't got to stop.
Yeah.
But yeah, he really did. And
Yep.
he got called out in the media for it. We joked about this before, that like Bernie used to be on the outside of the mansion looking through the window, yelling to everyone behind him, we're going to get in, the millionaires and billionaires. And then finally someone opened the door and said, hey, Bernie, come on in, leave them out there. And he goes, oh, okay. Then he comes inside, and he's inside sipping wine going, oh, yeah, the billionaires, yeah, you know. That was good stuff.
Yeah.
And they could
That's
track
it.
the date he made $1 million
Yeah, yep.
by how he stopped referring to
Exactly.
it.
You're like, you can look at when his campaign removed millionaires,
Yep.
and then be like, now let's look at like sales in his tax forms. It's like, you know, the exact moment he became a millionaire.
Did you do that? I'd like to see that data. That's pretty hilarious.
I'm really curious. I'll
Yeah.
have to
Oh,
look
you,
it up.
you didn't actually do it?
No, I haven't.
I'm
I
disappointed
know.
in
I
both
know.
of you right
I'm sorry.
now.
It just occurred to me just
I'm
now.
just saying.
Year,
I'm just
though.
saying. I'm a little
Alright.
disappointed right now.
It's the year he put out his book, and then he released his tax returns, I guess,
Mhm.
and he's like a millionaire.
Okay.
Just barely though, but he's a millionaire. It's, you know, I do think a lot of the criticism towards him for being a millionaire is unfair. welfare, because you can be rich and advocate for, dumb ideas.
Yeah.
Just because you're rich doesn't mean you're smart.
You could be self-aware.
Yeah, and maybe Bernie's like, wow, I made $1 million, I should give it away, and then he doesn't donate because like another big scandal was that he donated a smaller percentage of his income than like most millionaires do.
Yeah.
So I don't blame him, man. He's not been a particularly wealthy guy most of his life. He's old. He's very old, and
Yeah.
finally now he made $1 million. He must have been like, we can finally have that summer home we've always dreamed of.
It's really
I feel for him.
It's really interesting to me how I just looked it up. A senator makes under $200,000 a year.
And they're all millionaires.
How do they all
That's
become
weird.
millionaires?
They're millionaires before.
That's not necessarily true.
Well,
was Bernie a millionaire before?
that's true.
We were just talking about it.
He ran for
so
president,
How are you going to
sold
spin
the-
that? No.
No. It's not spinning it. It's that a lot of them are only able to win because they're millionaires. Because they've had long careers, they're high-ranking individuals, they have connections,
Okay.
and they can fundraise off other very wealthy people for political action committees and stuff like that.
Okay.
So but a lot of Congress is really poor. The funny thing about Congress, people don't seem to understand, is that they get $174,000 a year, which that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But they have to maintain a living residence in their home districts and in D.C. So there's actually a story about a lot of them who sleep in their congressional offices, and they're not supposed to do it. But what are you going to do? You can't, it's
Right.
you can't. They can close their office. You can't come in. I guess they shower there or something. But I got to be honest, man. If I was in Congress, I'd absolutely do that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to waste money. What do I look like? I guess when you grow up frugal and poor, you're like, no, I don't need an infinity pool.
Unnecessary.
Like you'd have to be some kind of lunatic, some kind of deranged psychopath to get elected to Congress and then go to like some luxury apartment building with an infinity pool and like a Whole Foods in the lobby. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Like,
know exactly
what kind
what
of
you mean.
insane person would do that and then demand a raise?
Yeah.
Are you talking about a certain somebody right now?
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't
that's,
know what you mean.
That's oddly
Okay.
specific, but
All
no,
right,
no,
all right,
yeah.
Sure.
Yes, I'm talking about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Okay, I thought so.
She said that they should pay Congress more. I actually agree.
Okay.
They should. However, it's like apparently there's like an infinity pool on her roof. I don't know if that's true, whatever. But she's in like very nice DC apartments, and there's like a Whole Foods apparently. Honestly, I don't track her living circumstance, but I know that Michelle Crusoe Cabrera, who was challenging her in the primary, like talked about this all the time.
Yeah.
So, look, if you want to ask for a raise for Congress, there are reasons to do this. We want to disincentivize corruption. We want to make sure that people who get in are incentivized to do work successfully for the people.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily mean you give them $1 million and maybe a raise doesn't make sense, but it's an argument for potentially some kind of pay structure that
And a limit.
like Andrew Yang said, something like pay them millions of dollars, but then they're no longer eligible for private income.
Okay.
So it's like as soon as you enter this, that way you can't be bribed.
Yeah, I like
Once
that,
you leave, we'll
actually.
give you a job, and you can't become lobbyists.
There is something about AOC that I do like. It is kind of what I was talking about earlier.
Youthful exuberance.
Sure, but it's more than that. She is a celebrity as a senator,
Congresswoman.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, yeah.
Excuse me, as a congresswoman. So, but that's kind of what we need. That's kind of what I was talking about earlier. We got to stop idolizing movie stars so much and realize that the people that are actually making the decisions for our lives, like we got to look at them and pay more attention to them and look at them and want to be more like them. Like, I'm not saying I want people to be like AOC, but she's proving that there can be a celebrity status in what she's doing.
Well, so let me build on top of that. I do like AOC as a politician compared to what the rest of the Democrats have to offer for the most part.
Okay.
Because I would rather have an inept braggart celebrity who is not part of the crony, corrupt class of business interests and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Sounds familiar to me.
Right. Exactly.
Like the president of the United States of America
and I've
right
made
now.
this,
Boom.
I've called AOC like a mini kind of Trump many times.
I can see that, actually.
However, there are much better people than AOC in terms of real populist politicians. I would say Matt Gaetz, for instance, would be like a more principled version of AOC. AOC's what we need to do is we need to get rid of these incumbents who have built careers off being politicians and don't actually do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi,
all
Nadler,
them.
get them out of there.
Biden, same thing.
Right, exactly.
They're all the same. They're not making any help. They're not helping anybody but themselves.
AOC, in my opinion, is one of the best Democrats simply because she's not a part of the corrupt DC
outsider.
establishment.
And
However,
that's where it stops.
Exactly. and now I'll say she is
Yeah.
she is far from my favorite politician,
Yeah.
period, and she has a whole list of problems.
Yeah.
Ineptitudes. Listen, but I'll tell you what, man, I'd rather have someone who's really dumb than someone who's really corrupt.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying I'd choose either of them if I had a choice of somebody else.
And people
Like-
this is the thing. People like to say Trump is dumb, and it's like they couldn't be further from the truth.
That could be further from the truth.
Not at all. He is
Yeah.
he is a smart cookie, man. He knows what he's doing.
He may not be the smartest person in the world. You can argue whether or not 4D chess is a real thing. But I get so annoyed when I talk to people and they're like, man, that guy's so dumb. And I'm like, if you think he's dumb and he became president, then what does that mean about you? Like, what does it say about you? You know what I mean? Like,
That's true.
Listen, man, if the billionaire philandering president, TV show host, reality real estate mogul
Yeah.
is dumb, and you working at Starbucks, man, come on.
Yeah, I said to someone, I was like, well, you know, he has a degree in economics, right?
So does AOC.
And they tried to argue with me that he didn't, and I was like, oh, okay,
What?
you know, he actually does. You can
can
look it
find
up.
it.
No, he does not. No, I'm sorry. No, you're
Do they
wrong.
think he didn't go to school?
I'm like, what do you mean? Like he did. He got it from the University of Pennsylvania. Like, I know it. I saw like, what are you talking about? Look it up yourself. No, I don't have to look it up. I know
But to
that's
be
wrong.
fair, AOC also has a degree in economics.
This
Okay.
all makes sense.
But
That
Trump was a billionaire. AOC was a bartender. Now, I'm absolutely not dragging AOC for being a
Right.
bartender. I hate that when people are like, "Go back to serving bars," blah blah. I'm
No,
like,
no.
that's. I love the fact that she was a bartender. This is
Right.
America, man.
Yeah, it's proving that any one
Yep.
person with the right ideas can make it into
Listen.
office and make a difference. That's what I want to start seeing.
I want to see all of the crony Republicans and Democrats fired.
Yep.
There are right now more principled Republicans, in my opinion, than Democrats. And it's because the Democratic Party is like it's led by lunacy, pandering to
Yeah.
extremists who don't actually know what they're talking about, and regular people are like. Like, I don't want to be involved in that anymore.
That's a good point.
So now you're probably going to see a lot of
think
centrist
Tuesday I can
liberals,
stream.
not all of them, but
Then I'm
many of
off.
them, probably voting for Republican.
The
because
following weekend
it's a
I'm off
safer
for 4
and
days in a
more
row, so that'll be good.
stable bet.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, I will take more AOCs over Nancy Pelosi's. If
She
Nancy
scares me.
Nancy Pelosi is just awful, and I've actually had nice words about her in the past about their feud with AOC, but at this point I'm like, that was a mistake. AOC is a lot of things, and smart is not one of them.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, but I will give her credit for the successes she's had. I don't think
Well,
all of her ideas are bad. I've actually, when she first won the primary, I went through her campaign positions. I agree with many of them, prison reform, things like that. But she's become too much of a celebrity who cares more about the buzzwords than about legitimate functioning policy. She's done dumb things like the Green New Deal. I don't like any of that.
Yeah.
But I would rather have a stupid person who believes in their cause than a corrupt person who's trying to steal money from the coffers.
Yep.
When I look to the establishment Democrats, I see people who just want me to give them my money. They're people who are like, if I get elected, I'm rich and successful and I can control everything. I see people like AOC, and she's, in my opinion, not very bright. That's just my opinion. People can disagree, but at least she's not part of whatever that weird, gross swamp monster machine is.
Let me ask you a question. What do you think about term limits?
50-50. I used to say yes, but then someone made a really good point in the super chat in one episode when they said, what if you have a Rand Paul, or a Ron Paul, a really principled, politician that you want to be there for you? Why should they not be able to run anymore?
Well, I can answer that question. It's those types of, like, if we actually start looking at these representatives as our idols and like wanting to be there, that one person, that Rand Paul, is going to show what a good senator is, what a good politician is. And we're going to have more of those type of people trying to get into politics. And it's going to continue with the generations that follow. You know, there comes a point where it feels like the older generation loses touch with the younger generation, and there needs to be a
What's everyone doing after the stream today? I can see all of you in there. Yeah. If someone follows me, I'm coming over to your place. That was good.
Earthquake. We're having an earthquake.
Come for it.
We made it.
Stay in. Think you're smart, huh? The guy that hired you should just do the same to you. Criminals in his time used to believe in things. Honor. Respect. Look at you. What do you believe in, huh? What do you believe in? I believe whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger.
Did you guys not hear it? At all? Did you not hear any of that? Oh well. I tried. 14 people. Wow. Hello, everybody. Music, 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 music. Please. Heard it a bit. Oh, well. Okay, well, if you want to watch it, I'll just put the link in. You can look at it if you want to. It's no biggie. It's just something that someone made for me. That's the link there, so. Just give me a second here. Oh, I didn't put my hashtags in my stream. I'll fix that right now. Give me a second. You can watch this while I'm fixing it. No, you can't watch that while I'm fixing it because that's not going to work. All right. Hashtags. Navigating, I'll tell you. I forgot my little oh, they are there anyway. Below the stream where it says my name, my hashtags are there. Man of the hour. Okay, I'm gonna reheat my coffee once more. I know I'm reheating coffee every second, and then we'll get to some painting. It's Sylvanus that I did for somebody. Hi to all you kids. I'll be right back and we shall continue. Just give me a sec. So how's everybody doing? Good, I hope. Faulty Switch, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. I'm usually here with my girlfriend, but she has to work today, so solo stream for now. You had a big raid too, didn't you, Steve? The other day, yes. On Wednesday, I had 1,300 people in here. And we had like 500 people for like 4 hours. It was really cool. Lumi, you're here. Hello, hello. Yeah, I was glad Kim was here to see it, because she's never seen a lot of people in the stream. So me neither. I think the most I've had is 300 something. So that was cool. And then I rated Vivis Art. And she was like, wow, 161 people. $161 was like leftovers. Total madness. Morning TV. That's what my mom used to call me. TV. I'm like, there's a fucking S. There's an S in there. Grier was here. Was out on PC today. Yeah. I heard it's very taxing though on the PC. Can anybody confirm that? The computer's pretty good, but a couple of friends were like, "Good luck playing it." Have you played it, Lumi? Are you playing it now? Do you want to play it? Did you buy it? Planning to play it? No, I have not bought it. Yeah, up here in Canada, it's $60. Thank God it's not $80. I don't think I've ever bought an $80 game. Prices went up in Canada a couple of years ago, and I vowed never to pay $80 for a game. Unless Witcher 4 came out or something major. I don't think I'll see Witcher 4 though in my time. $60 old ballers. $60. More years we're gonna have a new Witcher game, hopefully. I beg to differ on that one. Sure about what? Huh? So anybody see Dr. Disrespect's return on YouTube yesterday? He had 250,000 people watching him. And that made me think, should I be streaming on YouTube as well? Is there more of an audience on YouTube? 500K. What the hell? Strangely enough, not much Art Nouveau in the 70s. Coffex, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. Glad to have you. Time to put on some... Shy Steve was around last couple of streams, actually. I've been going through some... The day that we had that big, huge raid, later in the day I had like some family drama. Just kind of put me in this weird mood since then, so I'm trying to snap out of that. So bear with me if I'm not my usual loony, funny self. Family drama, you know. It kind of took me by surprise. So. I'm not going to get into what it is because kind of private stuff. Yep. I've had a lifetime, well, not a lifetime, but I've had my share of drama. Ooh, angel, who are you? Are you an angel from above? Ah. Had my share of drama, family drama. Yeah. Ooh, angel. So I'm just trying to get my mind occupied and out of that realm. Kim said, keep streaming, keep pushing forward. I shall overcome. Because when you go through that, you're like, oh, how am I going to stream and be myself? You know?
The great Reddit.
And with that big, huge raid, you got to be consistent. You can't let that fall on the wayside to see there's new people coming in. And you can't just let it beat you down and sucks to go through, but what are you gonna? You can't control something you can't control. Thanks for all the follows this morning. Appreciate it. You could be watching any streamer, but you chose to watch me. Addicted. I can't believe I've been doing this for 3 years. Time flies, doesn't it? Lumi keeps coming back because I keep drawing bushes. His favorite thing. Lumi in the bushes. Give us more, Steve. Yeah, like I said, sorry I'm a little not in my usual self, but yeah, just one step at a time. Oh yeah, I was going to show you my 70s style painting. Didn't I show you? Didn't I like it? Didn't I show you? All I know is if Netflix turns out, no more work for Stevie Weavy. Fingers crossed on that one. Let's just say that my art prices will go up if it happens. So you better get them now before Stevie Weavy gets a little more up in the world. there's a good chance I could be working for Netflix doing art. So that's all I can say. I'll know this year, October, November. Psychonaut Andy. Love that name. Welcome to the stream, Psychonaut Andy. Oh, yeah, this is my 70s vibes. This is my Frank Frazetta tribute painting. That's Frank Frazetta. That's Frank Frazetta. But the rest, the environment is me. So she's going through this dungeon, and this is the last boss that she has to fight to get all the treasure. So obviously he's going to send his pet in first, and then he's going to be picking up the scraps. But she's a pretty strong little girl. That ass. Ooh. Well, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't. You know, c'est la vie, but if it does, if it doesn't, I'm not going to be like, give me a handkerchief. Give me some handkerchiefs. Anybody ever pronounce handkerchief? Donald Trump pronounces origins orange.
Gloria?
Hello, everybody. Thank you for showing up tonight on this beautiful Saturday evening. Tonight with me, I have Ian.
Hi. Hello.
And we are going to be doing a deep dive into Ian.
Hi. Hello.
And we are going to be doing a deep dive into Donald J. Trump. And I have learned a lot about this man over the past few months, I guess. And really, I've been doing a deep dive into his family history, his history, you know, him growing up. I've learned a lot about him, and we're gonna get into it. Before we do, thank you for showing up. I really appreciate everybody that you know. We got super chats. We're super chatting. I got monetized. I'm very excited to announce that, and that's all thanks to you all. And I really appreciate it. You helped me get the watch hours that I needed, and it's wonderful. Really appreciate all the support you guys give me. It feels great, and thank you very much. If you can. Smash that like button. You want to. Please share this video. It really helps grow the channel. And subscribe. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll be doing this every Saturday night, 8 p.m. Normally I'm on the Timcast IRL show Monday through Friday with Tim and Lydia, and we do that show. And this is a little different. This is my show. I'm going to be playing music pretty much every week. I mean, we're both jammers, Ian and I both, and we have fun with the jams. We have fun with the jams.
That's true.
You are a great musician. I actually hadn't heard one of those songs you played last week, and people have been hitting me up all week